You've told this committee that you've barely spent half of the $150 billion in reconciliation funding. And if you still have $75 billion available, why are you asking the American people to absorb the cost of a war they don't support?
A routine budget hearing quickly turned into a sharp confrontation over Ukraine funding, defense spending, and America's military priorities. Senator Jeanne Shaheen challenged Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over delays in aid, while Hegseth defended the administration's America First strategy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary Hegseth, since you last testified before this committee, we finally received the spend plan for the $400 million FY26 appropriation for Ukraine security assistance. This funding was passed back in January, and now there are only 3 months left in this fiscal year. And while I appreciate that we now see what most of the funding is intended for, I just heard from the CEO of one of the manufacturers of the defense articles that are contained in the spend plan that they not only haven't received funding, but they haven't even seen a contract. So when are we going to see a contract for those defense articles that are contained in the spend plan for Iraq? I'm sorry, for Ukraine.
For Ukraine. Senator, I'll have to get back to you on the specifics of the timeline of that. I'll talk to our policy shop as well as the UCOM commander to determine where that's at.
Well, you've told this committee that you've barely spent half of the $150 billion in reconciliation funding. And if you still have $75 billion available, why are you asking the American people to absorb the cost of a war they don't support, instead of asking for transfer authority for unspent reconciliation funding, especially if you can't even get $400 million in Ukraine funding out the door?
As I mentioned earlier, Senator, that money from the One Big Beautiful Bill is otherwise allocated to the rebuilding of our military with priorities of the president like Golden Dome for America and hypersonics and other munitions investments that we made up front as we tried to adjust the Biden budget into an America First budget. And so reallocating that away from those priorities is robbing Peter to pay Paul. Those are allocated to rebuild.
But my point is,
and ultimately we're committed
if you can't
to
spend
this
it
year's
on
agenda.
a timeline that makes sense, why do you need to come back and ask for more money? Wouldn't it be better to spend money that you already have? And one of the things I noted was, or at least I think that this supplemental doesn't include funding to repair damage to our bases or to our military infrastructure in the region. And I have not heard that we've gotten the full extent of any of those damage estimates. So should we expect another request to address that military construction costs? And at what point do you stop asking Americans to foot the bill for a war they don't support on top of an inflated budget request and billions in reconciliation funds that you still haven't spent?
Well, Senator, I obviously don't agree with your characterization of that.
I appreciate that, but you didn't ask. But I want you to answer my question. I know you don't agree with my characterization. I don't agree with yours either.
Well, one of the reasons I take issue with that characterization is something that Senator Durbin said when he talked about Ukraine and he talked about winning. And I appreciate as much as anybody winning a war. But I sit in front of a committee that wants to talk about winning a war that's been going on for 4 years and talks about strategic defeat of a conflict that's been going on for 4 months to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. I would hope for some perspective in this town of the historic nature of what President Trump is undertaking. Do you want radical Islamists to have a nuclear bomb that can stare down the world?
Because I have limited time.
I don't understand.
If you can't answer my question, then I will move on to my next question. Secretary Rollins, the timber industry has also been hard hit, as you know, by trade wars, by drought, by wildfires, by other natural disasters that are increasingly common. In New Hampshire, which is the second most heavily forested state in the nation, one of the things that we really need, as you know, because we've had this conversation, is a research program and Forest Service staffing on the ground in a variety of ways, but particularly at Bartlett Experimental Forest. These small investments in research and staffing and sound management help make the forest economies healthier and more competitive. I very much appreciate your having staff visit Bartlett last week with my staff and with staff from the governor's office. But can you commit to restoring staffing at Bartlett and to keeping the facilities there open now that you've seen the critical nature of that research?
Why don't I follow up with you? I have not gotten a report from their visit, so I would like to do that first. But obviously, you and I have been in a continuing conversation about that. The good news, there's no doubt our timber industry is in distress and has been for a long time. The fact that we import 90% or something from other countries of our lumber needs is crazy. We're changing that. But the good news, we had more board feet sold last year than any time in 30 years. This year, we're going to exceed that target again. So we're making the right moves on this, but there's no doubt that research is important to that, as we've discussed. And I'll follow up with our team, and then we'll reconnect.
The exchange between Senator Jeanne Shaheen and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth centered on one critical issue. Is the Pentagon spending taxpayer money efficiently while balancing America's global commitments? Shaheen opened by questioning why $400 million in military aid for Ukraine, approved months earlier by Congress, still had not reached defense manufacturers. According to her, some companies had not even received contracts despite the fiscal year nearing its end. Her concern was less about approving new money and more about whether the Pentagon could effectively deliver funding that had already been authorized. Hegseth acknowledged he did not have a specific timeline and promised to follow up after consulting Pentagon officials. While understandable in a complex procurement system, the lack of a clear answer allowed Shaheen to challenge the department's overall management of defense spending. She then turned to a broader budget question. If tens of billions of dollars from previous defense funding remain unspent, why is the administration asking Congress for additional money? Shaheen argued that before requesting more taxpayer dollars, the Pentagon should first use the resources it already has. She also questioned whether future requests would be needed to repair U.S. military facilities damaged during operations in the Middle East. Hegseth disagreed with the premise. He argued the remaining funds were already committed to rebuilding America's military through President Trump's priorities, including missile defense, hypersonic weapons, and modernization efforts. Redirecting those funds, he said, would weaken long-term military readiness by sacrificing strategic investments for immediate needs. The debate soon expanded beyond accounting. Rather than focusing only on spending, Hegseth defended the administration's broader national security strategy. He argued that critics were quick to question the costs of recent operations against Iran, while accepting years of spending on the war in Ukraine. In his view, preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon justified difficult financial and military decisions. Shaheen, however, repeatedly tried to steer the discussion back to oversight. She wasn't asking for a broader defense philosophy. She wanted direct answers about contracts, timelines, and whether Americans should continue paying for additional military operations when previously approved funding remained unused. The exchange highlighted two competing approaches to defense policy. Shaheen emphasized accountability, efficient spending, and congressional oversight. Hegseth emphasized long-term military modernization and argued that America's defense priorities should not be reshaped every time a new crisis emerges. The hearing then shifted away from defense to domestic policy, as Senator Shaheen questioned Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins about the struggling timber industry in New Hampshire. She pressed Rollins on restoring staffing and research funding at the Bartlett Experimental Forest, arguing that scientific research and proper forest management are essential for the state's economy. Rollins agreed the timber industry faces serious challenges, pointed to increased timber sales under the administration, and promised to review the staffing issue before providing a formal response.